The courtroom doors creak open, echoing against the marble walls. The gallery is quiet, but the tension hangs heavy in the air. Today, a special guest attorney has arrived, Kyla Coleman. She's traveled from Florida to Texas, prepared to share hard truths about child support law. Dressed sharply, she commands the room before speaking a single word.
9 years now, and is there anything else I should add? I'm ready to jump into the juicy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, before we get into that, you said Central Florida.
Yes.
I'm not from Florida at all. I've been to certain parts of Florida.
Okay.
So for those that do not understand where Central Florida is located, explain that to them.
Okay, so we're talking about Orlando, Tampa, and like the surrounding counties. Seminole County, if anybody's watching from Florida, which I know you have a lot of followers from Florida. So Seminole County, Orange County, Hillsborough, if those are ringing a bell to you, that's where I practice.
Okay, all right. So let's get into it. Your practice area. Practice area is family law. Family law, what does that entail?
So family law is domestic violence injunctions, divorces, paternity cases, which are my favorite. Anything regarding family and children. Minus elderly, that's a whole different area of law.
Really? In Florida it is?
Elder law.
Oh, okay. Well, we have an elder law here in Texas as well. I couldn't tell you anything about it because I don't know anything about it. All right. So you said paternity is your favorite. We'll get back to that.
Okay.
Let's talk about child support in Florida. How would someone go about applying for a child support case?
So it's a couple of different ways you can do it. So if you're more so focused on the money itself and you're not married, you would go through the Department of Revenue and apply for child support there. You'll actually get a court-appointed attorney that works for the state, and you can apply for child support there. Typically, that's if you're receiving some sort of government assistance. A lot of times they'll automatically start a child support case for you to make sure that you're receiving money from whoever your child's father is on top of whatever other government resources you need. And then the other way you can do it is through paternity or divorce cases.
All right. So someone who is on government assistance, the state of Florida will automatically open.
Coleman introduces herself. 9 years of practice, licensed across Florida, specializing in family law, divorces, custody disputes, paternity battles. Her resume is impressive, but her tone reveals something more, a passion for justice. For her, family law isn't just paperwork. It's about survival, broken homes, and children caught in the middle.
Up a child support case?
Yes, because they're trying to make sure that you're getting all of your resources. So before they allot whatever it is that they determine you need, they're going to go after to make sure that the father is also providing as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens here in Texas as well, because a lot of people, when they've come in my office, when I used to practice law, they'll say, man, she put me on child support and I've been paying and I've been doing this and I've been doing that. And when we get to court, the mother would say, well, I didn't put you on child support. And she was really telling the truth.
Yeah, a lot of people think that the woman might be lying, but it's not the case. So either you were going to put food in your child's mouth, you know what I'm saying, getting food stamps and things like that, or you can say, well, no, I'm not going to do that just so that I don't do a child support case. So sometimes the moms are actually denying government assistance just so that they don't have to go after the father and be accused of putting him on child support.
Great point. So after you open up this child support case and it's on
the judge leans forward. Attorney Coleman, how does someone apply for child support in Florida? The question is simple, but the answer isn't. Coleman explains two main routes, through the Department of Revenue or through family court cases like divorce or paternity. Her words are sharp, but the room is captivated.
Paternity side, not the
Department of Revenue.
Department of Revenue. So you focus more on the paternity side.
Yes. Now I will jump in on the Department of Revenue case if a father comes to hire me to defend him on that. Because like you said, some dads are saying, hey, I do pay child support. I don't know why she went to the courts. And if it's involuntary, you know, it's not her fault. But I will jump in to maybe help him show proof that he has been paying. Because in Florida, you can go back to 2 years of back child support. So
wait a minute. In Florida, back child support goes back only 2 years?
Only 2 years, unfortunately.
Do you know what it is in Texas?
No, wait, hold on. You better not say no big number.
Well, it's larger than 2.
Okay.
4 years.
That is a blessing.
Yeah,
I like that.
4 years in Texas.
I like that.
Wow.
I feel like Florida should do more, but I mean, you have so many people that pass through Florida on a daily basis. You have people that are snowbirds, which we call them, like they live in Florida 6 months.
Then she drops a revelation. Many fathers believe the mother put them on child support, but often it's not her. It's the state. Murmurs ripple through the gallery. She explains, when mothers apply for government benefits like Medicaid or food stamps, the state automatically opens a child support case. The system itself takes action, even without the mother's request.
Go back elsewhere for 6 months. So much traveling that they might be like, you know what, let's just go 2 years, because we don't even know if a person has been living here 4 years or, you know, longer than that.
Oh, wow. That is a vast difference.
Yeah.
So if someone is living in Florida and they decide to move, they need to come to Texas.
Yes, I would say come to Texas if you want some good child support, apparently.
Okay, all right, all right. So the next steps, what happens after they apply for child support, they hire you, you take it to court, what happens next?
So if we're talking about on the Department of Revenue side, my first questions are going to be asking him, show me how you've paid child support so that we could at least go to court with some sort of proof, because they will give you credit for whatever you've paid. So I see lately a lot of fathers are paying, or whoever's ordered to pay child support is paying through like Cash App or Venmo. So I'll look at their breakdown of that just so that when we go to court, we have evidence that this person has been supporting the child. So that's what I do on the Department of Revenue side.
Before you move on.
The judge pauses. Fathers in the gallery shift in their seats. For some, the anger they've carried for years suddenly feels misplaced. Coleman continues. If the mother says she didn't file, she might be telling the truth. The weight of her words hits hard.
You said something very key. You check those records for a Cash App and everything like that.
Yes.
How often does someone really bring you in that type of evidence?
Well, I asked for it off rip. That's Florida language. I asked for that off top.
Okay.
So I want to know what person I'm representing. I do not represent bad dads. I do not represent bad parents in general. So if you come to me and you're telling me that you have not paid child support and this baby is maybe 5 or 6 years old, I'm not going to deal with you, because my reputation is on the line. I only represent good people. And if I know that you have been actively participating in this child's life or trying to, and the other parent has blocked you out, then I'm ready to go to bat. If you come to me and you don't have a past history of paying any child support, I'm not going to deal with you at all.
Well, you all heard that, right?
I mean, because these babies didn't ask to be here. They did not ask to be here. They cannot advocate for themselves. And so if I'm going to be in court, I'm going to be advocating for somebody that I truly believe in.
You all need to hire.
Next comes the question of back child support. Coleman compares Florida to Texas. In Florida, retroactive support usually goes back 2 years. In Texas, it can stretch 4 years. The gallery reacts. Some sigh with relief, others frown. Geography alone can change a father's financial future.
Let's take a break really quick, because you just gave out a plethora of information right there, dropped some major gems, and all these people know is your first and your last name and where you are practicing. Tell them how they can reach you. If somebody is watching right now in Seminole County, in Tampa, how can they reach you if they want to hire you?
Well, I will say this, I am Googleable. So if you want to Google me, you can.
This is a good Google search, not the other searches that we talk about, right?
Oh,
no,
yes.
This is a good Google search.
Good Google search, yes. But I can give my phone number out here.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
please.
so it's 407-801-9533. You can find me on social media as well under my name, Kyla A. Coleman. And that's pretty much on all social media platforms.
Okay, and give us the spelling of your name, because Kyla is spelled a little different.
My mom did some things with my name, so yes, so it's spelled C-A-I-L-A, and to my knowledge, I'm the only.
But Coleman doesn't stop there. She paints scenarios. Imagine a father absent for 5 years. Florida law won't reach back that far. But in Texas, that father may owe 4 years' worth of unpaid support all at once. The gavel strikes. Justice may be uneven, but it is law.
Only Kyla A. Coleman that practices law, so.
Okay, all right, and that's on Twitter, that's on Facebook, Instagram. You have a TikTok?
I don't know how to work TikTok like that.
Okay.
So no, don't try to look on there. But yeah, Facebook is mainly where I will do business with someone. So if you want to message me on there, that's absolutely fine. Or if you want to just go directly to my email, it's Kai, so C-A-I, @colemanlaw.net.
Okay. And your website, did we talk about your website?
It's just colemanlaw.net.
Okay, all right. They need to know this because you are giving really, really good information out. And if someone wants to even consult with you, if they want to represent themselves, at least you can guide them and tell them how to get where they're trying to go.
And that's one thing that I do believe in, because in Florida, I'm not sure how it is in Texas, but in Florida, you do not have to have an attorney to represent you in family law. So some people may not be able to afford all of my services, but when I do my consultation, I try to make it.
The attorney's voice sharpens. She makes one thing clear. She does not defend parents who neglect their children. If you've abandoned your duty, don't call me. But if you've been trying, if you've sent money through Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, I will fight for you. Every payment matters. Every receipt is a lifeline.
Thorough so that a person does feel like if they do need to represent themselves, at least they have the first steps to go about doing that.
Absolutely.
I do take payment plans or whatnot, but if a person can't afford me, I want to make sure that they at least feel empowered once they leave my office.
Good for you. I
Thank
like
you.
that. Now, you go to court with your client, the judge makes a ruling, places someone on child support, does an order and everything like that. Before someone goes to court, should they pay child support without being under an order?
I would say so, yes.
All right.
Because that goes back to what I was saying prior. My clients, I require them to be good parents. I've actually had some dads recently that'll come to me when they know they're in a rocky relationship and they're not married to that person. And I'm saying not married for a reason, because there are different laws that apply to non-married children versus children born of a marriage. Anywho, they'll come to me and they know their relationship is rocky. Mom might be about to give birth. And
She explains the importance of evidence. Judges don't care about promises. They care about proof. Fathers who bring bank statements, transaction screenshots, or signed acknowledgments from the mother stand taller in court. Those without records? They risk drowning in arrears they may have already paid.
so they'll ask me what to do. And so I'll let them know, hey, you know, if you guys are not living together, start paying her a little something. And I'll ask, you know, what their income is. So usually I would say, if you could pay between $200 to $500, I know that sounds like a lot, but I'd rather you pay more and be ordered to pay less and get credit for it than to not pay anything at all.
I was just about to ask you about the benefit of it. So that's the benefit, to be able to get credit.
Yes, and it does two things for me. One, you're taking care of your child, which I love. Two, you're establishing credibility with the court. So now you're coming into the courthouse and the judge is looking at you like, oh man, you've been doing this before you were ordered to do it. It makes you not seem like a better person, but you are in better standing with the court when you come before them.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. That definitely makes sense. And that credit that we're referring to, is it credit towards the back pay or the current child support obligation?
Towards the back pay. Okay. Because like you asked me before, they can go back 2 years. And so I'm not sure how quick.
The judge interrupts. So should fathers pay even before an order is signed? Coleman doesn't hesitate. Yes, always. Not only does it help the child, but it builds credibility. Judges respect responsibility. Heads nod in agreement across the courtroom.
Child support cases roll in Texas, but sometimes it takes a long time in Florida. So you might have filed a case, say in 2021, but it might not get resolved sometimes until 2022, 2023. So you're getting credit all of that time.
Yeah. Well, we definitely have some lag. Mm-hmm. I will say that child support cases have moved a lot faster since COVID because everything is pretty much virtual. Yes. I believe the Office of the Attorney General, the attorneys that work there only go into the office maybe once a month or something like that.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, they're rolling, doing it virtually. If I'm not mistaken, a given docket on any day could be like 500 cases.
Whoa. It
was a lot. So if you think about 500 people on a given day sitting in the courthouse, they don't have to do that anymore. They're just rolling them out on, the Zoom. So it's moving a lot quicker than what it used to, but there is still some lag depending on.
She clarifies the benefit. Early payments may reduce future debt. If you've given $500 before the order and you can prove it, that credit counts. Fathers who step up unprompted gain more than legal advantage. They gain the court's respect.
If you're going to bring witnesses to court, if you're going to have all of these exhibits that you need to enter into evidence and everything like that. So, yeah.
Well, that's the one critique I will say about Florida is sometimes things take longer than necessary, I believe.
Why do you think that is?
Florida's crazy. I'll just start there. A lot of you guys
I
watching.
didn't say it. She
and
said
I'm from
it.
Florida, so I can say it. I'm from Florida, so I can say it. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I wish that it was more efficient, but that's why I try to set my clients up in the best position that I can, because I know it can be slow. And I'd rather them get credit and, you know, do the right thing as we go along. So when the case does finally close, they're on the upswing of things.
All right. In a judge's child support court order, could they order an alternative to money exchanging from one parent to the other one?
Yes. So Florida does it a few different ways. You can do an income withholding order, meaning that it'll go directly.
But the system is slow. In Florida, cases can drag on for years. Coleman admits, I have cases from 2021 still pending in 2023. Justice delayed, families in limbo. But she warns clients to prepare anyway, because preparation is power.
To the employer. And so it'll take a portion directly from that check and it'll go through the Florida disbursement unit, meaning it'll go through there and then it'll be dispersed to the mother or whoever is ordered to receive child support. That's one way. Then you can do, like I said, Cash App, whatever it is that you want to do. But for me, I like the disbursement unit because it keeps a running total of what's going on. And then if there's any dispute, you have the state of Florida keeping track of how much was actually paid. The only thing I don't like is sometimes if a father has had credit prior to the disbursement unit, sometimes they aren't quick on giving him credit for that.
And that puts him in arrears, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, I know in Texas, we have a disbursement unit too. It's located in San Antonio, Texas. Where is the Florida State Disbursement Unit located?
Tallahassee, the capital.
Okay, all right, great.
So my clients will be like, well, yeah, the check went to Tallahassee. And I'm like, I already know what that means, so.
Okay.
The conversation shifts to enforcement. Coleman explains how states collect support, wage garnishment, license suspension, even jail time for the worst offenders. The courtroom stiffens. These aren't threats. They're realities. A father who ignores orders risks losing everything.
Right, and I hear you saying a lot, dad, dad, dad. Do you mostly represent fathers?
I do. I love a good dad, mainly because I did not grow up in a household with a father. My mom is excellent, and I saw her do it by herself, and I wanted to know the psychology behind, why fathers weren't really being participatory with with children in Florida. And in my anger of trying to research that, I found out that some dads are really being blocked by the court system. That was not the case with my dad, so let's not get that twisted. But when I realized that, I said, okay, well, I really want to help these fathers out a lot. A lot of times they come to me and they're in a negative position when it comes to child support. They're thinking, oh, it's bad. And I'm like, no, it's good. It's a good thing because it's showing that you really care about these babies. If a person tries to take you to court, you already have something in your back pocket because you've been doing what you need to do. Also, you're establishing rights. I want you to have those rights and responsibilities to be able to raise your child.
But Coleman is fair. She shares stories of fathers who worked 2 jobs, who sent money faithfully, who were still dragged into court due to clerical errors. For them, she fought relentlessly. Because these babies didn't ask to be here, she reminds the court. And good fathers deserve a fair chance.
Really love a good dad.
Good for you. You're such a good person.
Thank you.
Very seldomly do you hear females, especially, talk about the representation of fathers in court. I know when I practiced law, majority of my clients were guys. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. That wasn't my experience. My dad was in the home, but going to school with different people who didn't have their dads in the home and growing up around mothers that would talk negatively about the fathers to the children, I just gravitated to fathers more to want to know what is it that they're seeing. Trying to get behind the lens of that woman who spoke negatively about the father to see what's going on. And to your point, they're usually blocked a lot of times. It was a failed relationship.
Yes, that's a big one.
A huge one, right? And sometimes it wasn't even just the failed relationship, just the fact that their relationship.
Her tone softens. She opens up about her own life, growing up without a father at home. That absence fuels her fight today. She defends good dads because she knows firsthand how much a father's presence matters. The gallery sits silent, moved.
didn't work. It could have been on great terms, but because that father moved on,
Yes.
he has to still pay for the things that, you know, could have happened in his previous relationship or didn't happen in his previous relationship.
Right.
So it's very unfortunate. Good for you.
Yeah,
Kudos.
and so when I hear stories like that, I'm getting chills now because it really fires me up. I feel like you should not be withheld from seeing your child just because you might not want to be in a relationship with that woman or because you've moved on. I've seen kids used as a pawn because a dad is now in a healthy relationship, and we're not going to have that on my watch. I don't like that.
Y'all need to hire her. She'll fight him.
I am.
Yeah.
And so on the flip side, like I told you, my mom was a single parent. She worked for HRS. That's what they called it back in the day. Now it's called DCF. And she taught parenting classes. So I did not grow up hearing a disparaging word about my father, although he chose not to be in our lives. You know, she really was progressive in the 80s, you know, when I was born, and it came to parenting. So now some of the things that she was talking
Back to the law. She breaks down termination of child support. In Florida, support typically ends at age 18 or high school graduation, whichever comes later. But for children with disabilities, support may continue indefinitely. Every case is unique, every ruling life-changing.
about way back in the 80s, people are just now implementing now.
Wow.
So I'm grateful. I have an excellent mother. That's my homegirl now. But yeah, I do love representing great dads.
What are the ways, because here in Texas, when you talk about the Office of the Attorney General being involved in a child support case, there is also that medical support component of it. You mentioned something about government assistance.
Yes.
When people apply for Medicaid in Texas, that automatically involves the child support office, right? Well, how does that play a role in Florida with child support?
Now, I'm not sure about if you are applying for government medical assistance, if that automatically triggers it or not. I'm not gonna lie to you, because that's not, Department of Revenue is not really my forte. But I do know if you're wanting like food stamps or things of that nature, then it automatically triggers.
Okay.
But I also know that they try to get you as much assistance as needed. So it's almost like an intake process.
The judge raises another issue. What about private payments? Cash under the table? Coleman warns strongly. Without proof, those payments may not count. Use the state's system. Create a record. Protect yourself. It's not just about giving, it's about proving.
It's like, what is it that you need? Let me make sure I'm pulling everything. And that's why they also pull from dad as well.
What about private health insurance? Those who have access to private health insurance, is it just court ordered that you continue paying that private health insurance, or is there a reimbursement to another parent for paying that?
It's called a credit in Florida.
Okay.
And typically I say whatever is the better insurance. So private is typically better. And whatever parent is paying for that private insurance, they do get a credit for child support for that as well.
Great, great. Well, that's similar to Texas then. We do have some similarities.
I'm still mad about these 4 years. I'm really mad about that. Florida needs to step it up.
Well, what is there anything that can be done? You know, you with the
I'm gonna have to run for
legislator?
office and become a judge like you or something like that,
well,
because
let's
I
do
don't.
it.
Let's do it.
You know, honestly, that's where it starts. When you have a problem with the laws that, you know, are written a certain way currently, you have to get involved.
She demonstrates with examples. A father pays rent directly, but has no written agreement. Later, the court says those payments don't count as support. Result: debt. Another father pays through the state system. Every dollar logged, every payment counted. Result: protection.
Involved in politics. You start by
Absolutely.
voting first. I mean, we're in the midterm elections,
Yes.
so this is very appropriate. You start first by voting, and then after that, if there are still some things you would like to see change, you have to put yourself in the game.
Absolutely. Not just complaining, actually do something about it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to hold you to that,
Okay.
you know, the foreshadowing there.
All right. I'm
like
with it.
that. Now, in Florida, when does a child support case end? So in Texas, we have it where a child support case ends when a child either turns 18 or they graduate from high school, whichever one happens later.
Yep.
What is it in Florida?
That's the same for us.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure if you guys have a caveat too about maybe if there's special needs or something
we
like
do,
that.
we do.
Yeah, that's really it. Cut and dry.
Okay. I like that there are some similarities. So when I'm on my show, you know, on Support Court, when I'm talking to people about different things in Texas law, I like that it
Coleman shifts to myths. Some fathers believe child support money must be spent directly on the child: clothes, toys, school supplies. She corrects the record. The law does not track how the money is spent. It is presumed to support the household. That roof, those lights, that food, it all matters.
Translates
Yes.
to Florida as well.
And I watch your show and your cases, which are, some people got some drama going on, but that's what we do in life. We handle the drama. But yeah, there are a lot of similarities. Aside from the 2 years and 4 years, I'm not really seeing much of a difference.
Okay. All right.
However, if you are in Florida and you're in need of assistance, feel free to reach out to me.
Please do. She knows her stuff.
And if you don't live in Central Florida, still give me a call. As you said, I'm a good person. If I can't help you, I'm going to point you in the right direction.
That is good to know. Thank you for that. How can a parent themselves end a child support situation?
How can they end it?
If it's even possible.
Typically when the order says so, unless there is a settlement agreement or something that says they're supposed to go past a certain point. I know I've had, divorce cases where they said they're going to support their child up until 21 or things like that. But I don't know, unless it's a paternity case and maybe they end up not being the father, then that's a whole different.
Tension builds. The judge slams the gavel, reminding everyone, child support is not punishment. It is duty. Duty to the child, not to the other parent. The words echo like thunder. Excuses hold no weight here.
Route to go to end child support, but typically it's when the court order says so.
You brought up something that I really want you to dig into. Paternity with child support. If a father is ordered to pay child support and he later finds out that the child does not belong to him, what recourse, if any, does he have?
It just depends, but the main route people go is disestablishment of paternity, which are really sad cases because a father might have thought this child was his and has poured his whole life into this child, and then you later find out via DNA that the child is not yours. So you go through a disestablishment of paternity process. And at that point, the state has to determine whether it'll be in the child's best interest to not have a father that they've known this whole time, or to keep this person in their life. But
wow.
Typically, whatever the DNA says, the courts are really going to go with that.
Coleman explains modification. Life changes, loss of job, new child, medical emergencies. Parents can request a modification, but it's not guaranteed. She stresses, don't wait until debt piles up. File early, act responsibly. Delay is the enemy of justice.
Well, that's good. Is there a time limit or anything on it?
Now that I'm not too sure of. I haven't done that many disestablishment of paternity cases. I've only done 2, and those were really gut-wrenching. But in those cases, the child was pretty old. I think it has to be shortly after you find out scientifically that they're not yours.
Okay, all right, because it's not like that in Texas. This is one of those differences.
Okay, let's hear it.
It is not like that in Texas. So I don't know if you watched the very first podcast that we did. There was a gentleman on here.
Yes.
He found out he wasn't the father. Well, he tried to contest the acknowledgement of paternity, but you have to contest the acknowledgement of paternity within like days of signing it. It can't be years. The only way that he would have gotten to, not him personally been able to do it, but if another father came in and challenged his paternity, he would have had to, that father.
She tells a story of a father who lost his job but never filed for modification. Months later, he owed thousands he could never repay. The court didn't forgive his silence. The lesson is clear. The law favors the proactive, not the passive.
Would have had to have done it within 4 years.
Oh, wow.
From the signing of the acknowledgement.
And I can't remember, was he married to the young lady?
No.
Okay, because there are different marriage rules, which I hate for Florida, versus when you have a child outside of a marriage. But wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's one of those differences. It's good that a father in Florida has a little bit more time, because let's just be honest, from what we've seen, they don't know within that first year. They don't know within those first 5 years.
Right.
You just never know.
Well, my thing is, if you question it, I just like people to get DNA tests, period. If you are not married, go ahead and get a DNA test just to, calm some of your fears. And then that can help out. If you do have to disestablish paternity, at least you have some evidence to support it.
So I have a funny story, actually. When my husband and I had our daughter, We were in the hospital. They brought in the forms to sign the acknowledgement of paternity and everything like that, right? So I look at him and I say, did you want to get a DNA test?
Enforcement returns to the spotlight. Coleman explains contempt hearings. When parents fail to pay, they must explain themselves before the judge. Excuses fall flat. Some leave the courtroom free, others leave in handcuffs. The stakes could not be higher.
And he looks at me and he's like, not a face of disgust, but shock, like, I can't believe you're asking me that. And I told him, if I am going to be out here encouraging fathers to get DNA testing, whether you're married or not, I should be able to practice what I preach. And he said, that's a good point, but give me that paper. I know that's my baby.
Right, right. But at least you gave him permission to do so without any guilt attached.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that if we had those conversations more often, we would find that people would have less animosity towards each other. Like for the mother, don't feel offended if a guy asks you. It's not that he's asking you because he does not think you're the father, he's the father, or he does think that you've been out here with other people. That's not why he's asking. It's a legit question because child support, once you're placed under that order, in most cases, it's that child's entire life until they become of age of an adult, right? So it's a legit.
But hope exists. Coleman highlights fathers who reform, men who once fell behind but worked tirelessly to catch up, proving their dedication. Redemption is possible, but only through accountability.
Question. And then, you know, on the other hand, for fathers, if a mother does ask you, you know, don't get an attitude, respect it, have those hard conversations. And from what I found, people don't like to have conversations about child support. They just rather do a Google search or listen to someone else and their experience and just go with that and say, oh, okay, child support is just a negative thing.
And it's not. But I like what you did. I think, I mean, I don't have children. I'm an auntie. But I think that I probably would do the same thing. I want a person to feel comfortable and confident that that is their child, even though 9 times out of 10, baby gonna come out looking just like whoever it is, because I don't know how strong my genes are, but yes.
Well, I can say my mom's side of the family, oh my gosh, her genes are extremely strong.
Y'all do have some strong genes. Yes.
We do, we do. Well, Kyla, thank you again so much for being here today with us. I know you're gonna come back because we didn't even talk about custody.
Which is a whole...
The courtroom reaches its climax. Coleman makes her final plea. I will not defend deadbeats, but if you are a good father, if you have tried, if you have proof, I will fight for you with everything I have. Her voice shakes the room.
Whole different issue, yes.
Oh my gosh. So that's the preview that we're going to tell people, right?
Well, all right, yes.
Kyla is coming back, you guys, and we are going to discuss custody cases in Florida. Kyla, do me a favor. Tell everyone again how they can reach you.
Yes, so my phone number is 407-801-9533. Once again, my name is Kyla A. Coleman across all social media platforms. And if you want to email me, it's Kai, so C-A-I, @colemanlaw.net.
Thank you again. And thank you all for tuning in with us. Make sure you come back. Be sure to like, subscribe to our channel, Support Court with Judge Vonda B. See you soon.
The judge delivers closing words, gavel in hand. This court will always protect the child first. Support is not about punishment, but about responsibility. To every parent who enters this courtroom, understand this truth and act accordingly. The gavel strikes. Silence follows. Justice has spoken.